Welcome to Crimes Beyond Borders, where we'll bring you the most thrilling true crime stories every single day. If you're fascinated by mystery, intrigue, and the darker side of human nature, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us as we unravel the most shocking and perplexing criminal cases from around the world. The story is about to begin after this intro.
From city streets to far-off lands, mystery slipping through our hands. Crimes beyond borders they speak, voices strong but words are meek. Every story leaves a mark, whispers softly in the dark.
The investigation process in criminal cases is a structured and methodical approach. Law enforcement agencies follow to uncover facts, collect evidence, and establish the circumstances surrounding a crime. It involves several stages, each designed to ensure a thorough and legally sound inquiry. Here's a breakdown of the typical steps involved. 1. Initial response and crime scene management. First responders, police officers, emergency personnel, or other first responders are typically the first on the scene. Their primary responsibilities include securing the area to preserve potential evidence and ensuring the safety of any individuals present. Preservation of evidence. The scene must be secured immediately to prevent contamination. This includes limiting access, setting up boundaries, and recording who enters and exits the crime scene. Documentation. Detailed notes are taken on the crime scene's condition, including environmental factors, weather, lighting, physical details, and immediate observations about potential evidence or suspects. Photos, sketches, and videos are often used to document the scene. 2. Collection of evidence. Physical evidence. This includes collecting tangible items like weapons, clothing, fingerprints, bloodstains, or any other physical objects that may be linked to the crime. Each piece of evidence is carefully documented, labeled, and stored in a way that preserves its integrity for future analysis. Forensic analysis. Specialists may be called in to collect more specialized types of evidence, such as DNA, ballistics, or digital data, e.g., cell phones, computers. This process may involve a crime lab for advanced analysis. Chain of custody. To maintain the admissibility of evidence in court, a detailed record is kept of everyone who handles the evidence from the crime scene to the courtroom. 3. Witness identification and interviews. Locating witnesses. Officers or investigators will identify and locate potential witnesses, including anyone who may have seen the crime, heard something suspicious, or has relevant knowledge about the victim or suspects. Interviews and interrogations. Witnesses are interviewed to gather first-hand accounts, while suspects or persons of interest may be interrogated. Investigators must follow legal procedures to ensure that statements are admissible in court, e.g., reading Miranda rights before questioning suspects in the U.S. Witness statements. Statements are documented in detail, often supplemented by audio or video recordings. Investigators will assess the reliability of these statements based on consistency, corroboration with physical evidence, and the credibility of the witness. 4. Suspect identification. Developing leads. Based on evidence and witness statements, investigators may develop a list of potential suspects. They might rely on databases, criminal history, known associates of the victim, or patterns of behavior common to similar crimes. Surveillance and tracking. Depending on the case, investigators may use surveillance techniques, including monitoring digital communication, following suspects, or employing undercover agents to gather more information. Lineups and identifications. If witnesses or victims are able, they may participate in identification procedures, such as photo lineups or physical lineups, to identify the suspect. Forensic analysis. DNA evidence. DNA collected from the crime scene, such as blood, hair, or skin cells, is analyzed and compared to known samples to identify suspects or confirm connections to the crime. Ballistics and weapons analysis. Forensic experts analyze firearms, bullets, and gunshot residue to determine if a weapon found at the scene was used in the crime. They may also be able to match a gun to a specific suspect. Toxicology. This involves the study of chemicals and substances, such as drugs or poisons, found in victims or at the crime scene. Toxicology reports can indicate causes of death or impairment. Digital forensics. Increasingly important, digital forensics involves recovering data from electronic devices, such as phones, computers, or GPS systems. This can provide critical information, including text messages, emails, location tracking, and online activity. Number 6. Developing a theory of the crime. Reconstructing the event. Investigators work to piece together a timeline and narrative of what happened, based on all collected evidence. This includes the time of the crime, the method used, and any motive that can be identified. Motive, means, and opportunity. Investigators seek to establish that a suspect had a reason to commit the crime. Motive, the capability to carry it out. Means, and the chance to do so. Opportunity. Collaboration. In many cases, investigators work closely with other agencies, e.g., federal authorities, specialized task forces, or consult with experts, such as forensic psychologists or profilers, to better understand the suspect's behavior or the crime. 7. Arresting the suspect. Gathering sufficient evidence. Before making an arrest, investigators must have enough evidence to establish probable cause. This is necessary to obtain an arrest warrant from a judge unless a suspect is caught in the act. Arrest procedure. When an arrest is made, law enforcement officers follow strict procedures to ensure the rights of the suspect are protected, such as reading the suspect their Miranda rights. Booking and detention. The suspect is formally charged, fingerprinted, photographed, and held in custody until a court appearance. 8. Preparing for prosecution. Working with prosecutors. Once the investigation is complete and the suspect is in custody, law enforcement collaborates with the prosecution team to prepare for trial. They present the evidence collected and participate in legal proceedings, such as grand juries or preliminary hearings. Evidence review. Prosecutors will review the evidence to determine if there is enough to proceed with formal charges. They may work with investigators to strengthen the case if needed. Building the case. Investigators may continue gathering additional evidence, interviewing new witnesses, or clarifying details as the prosecution prepares for trial. 9. Trial and testimony. Testifying in court. Investigators, forensic experts, and witnesses may be called to testify during the trial. Their testimony can clarify technical details about the evidence or recount events. Presentation of evidence. Evidence is presented to the court, and the defense may challenge the credibility of the evidence or testimony. Cross-examination. The defense team will cross-examine witnesses, trying to find inconsistencies in their statements or question the validity of the evidence. 10. Post-trial actions. Conviction or acquittal. If the suspect is convicted, they are sentenced according to the law. If acquitted, the suspect is released. Appeals and further investigations. In cases where new evidence emerges or mistakes in the investigation or trial are discovered, the case may go to appeal. Investigations may be reopened or revisited based on post-trial developments. Challenges and complexities. Criminal investigations are not always straightforward. Complexities may arise from lack of evidence, cases where physical or forensic evidence is minimal. Witness reliability, false or misleading testimony from witnesses. Cold cases, investigations that stall due to insufficient leads, requiring years or even decades to resolve. In all cases, investigators must balance their pursuit of justice with legal standards, ensuring the integrity of the investigation and the rights of all parties involved are respected.